Artificial intelligence, AI. People have very different opinions on it. On one path, people see it as innovative. They see it as the future. Others see it as something that can mean the end of the world. But it's not all black and white. We didn't know how to feel about it, and neither did our professors, which is why we had students go on their own journeys to learn how to navigate it. A musician exploring what AI means for the art they love.
How does Navi find the balance between using AI and creating original beats?
Diving deep on the future of healing.
Hi Andrew, my name is Abby.
They are agreeing with the individual. That could be very dangerous because that's not what therapists do.
How to spot what's real on your feed.
Every day, I'm curious if what I'm seeing on social media is real. So how do we learn to slow down and start questioning what we see?
Welcome to Focus, our AI journeys. But first, let's go across the Hudson and meet with one of the most respected digital journalists and AI thought leaders, Sree Sreenivasan.
So AI to me is the greatest combination of potential and scariness in one thing that has come around in the last few decades. I'm the father of twins who are 22 and fear of what this means for jobs, what this means for opportunities, what this means for education. At the same time, we're seeing amazing special things happening with AI in medicine. We're seeing things happening in other ways in which we are able to bring everybody together using technology. AI prices of platforms and tools have become so easy that you can do so much more creative work than you ever could. There are so many skills that you can learn, music you can produce, math problems you can work on, and it's all part of that world coming smaller and becoming more together. I think that's good. At the same time, as optimistic as I want to be, I just want to emphasize that that future will be determined by all of us. I call myself a tech evangelist and skeptic, and it's important to be both at the same time. The job market is a real problem. You know, there's an estimate that AI will cause the loss of up to 20 to 25% of all jobs in America. Let's say that's wrong by an order of magnitude. It's really 10%. We're still talking about tens of millions of jobs being lost. And not only are not young people ready for that, old people aren't ready for that. One of the things I always say is learn the skills, try new things, and just keep improving so that you understand what's happening. If you don't do that, then you're going to get caught flat-footed and you're going to be affected. AI won't replace humans, but humans using AI will replace humans not using AI. You have a full, rich, deep set of lives ahead of you, and I want you to be able to do that. And what I don't want is the tech people to have a thumb on the scale that decides what your life is going to be. This human brain, which is much more intelligent than the artificial intelligence, it's capable of doing amazing things, including, and at the core of it, the human emotion and connecting with other people. I want more of that, and I want this technology not to push us to not having that, and that's what I want.
Sree taught us the big picture on AI, and now my friend Kevin Borrelli is going to teach us about how it actually works. But Kevin, why am I in a comic book shrine?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh.
Last summer, I wanted to read all of the essential stories in a DC era that spans over 20 years. I knew this would be a lot for me to keep track of, so I decided to ask ChatGPT to give me a breakdown of what order I should read these stories. It didn't take me long to notice contradictions. I'd keep asking for proper reading orders, and it would pop out a slightly different answer every time. It made me curious. How does AI actually process my question?
It doesn't really learn how to, correct itself or rewrite itself.
This is Professor Howell Liu, expert in AI engineering. He broke down the process of how AI generates answers. It's predicting, not thinking.
The process is first to break down those words into tokens. Tokens you can understand as a word segment. So with the tokens, they will map it to a numerical value. And then each value corresponding to a unique word.
That sounded like a lot, so let me give an example. If I ask, what order do I read DC Comics? Each word segment is assigned a numerical value that allows the machine to understand. It then uses these codes to find relevant information from the internet and other databases to generate an answer. The model then ranks the next possible words in the sentence. Then it makes a choice, not always the obvious one. That same logic is how it understands context. This is why when I type DC, it knows to tell me about the comic books instead of the District of Columbia. The AI uses context to determine users' meaning.
For generative AI is different. When we train the model, we kind of align to say, okay, this sun should associate a group of red pixels represent sun or something, right?
Experts call this an embedding space, where AI matches text with images.
Then when we generate, we extract from that embedding space. You want a sun, I generate a sun image for you, right? With a little bit of maybe variant, but it still looks like a sun.
I never got a definitive answer to my question about how to read DC Comics in order, and maybe that's because there is no definitive answer. I used to think AI was like Superman, with its unexplainable speed and power. But now I know it's more like Bizarro, an imitation of the reality of human thought. But when used correctly, it can be a great tool for the world.
I'm confused and overwhelmed by what I'm seeing online, and I have a feeling that I'm not alone. Hi, my name's Sarah Kurz. I'm a content creator, consumer, and journalism student, navigating a media landscape where every day I'm curious if what I'm seeing on social media is real. So how do we learn to slow down and start questioning what we see before accepting it as the truth? I sat down with some friends and classmates on Montclair's campus to talk about how they consume digital content, as well as the ways AI has challenged what we can believe. When you are scrolling, are you able to kind of tell what's real and what's not? And what kind of AI content do you see the most? Is it like memes? Is it videos?
I definitely see like memes the most. And of course they're like super like nonsensical and like you can very obviously tell it's AI. But sometimes I'm like scrolling on TikTok. One time I saw a video of like a puppy and like a young baby playing together, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. But then I went all to the comments and they were pointing out how it was AI, because like everyone has like these like methods and I never learned them. It just looks too real.
Yeah. I feel like it's been getting harder to tell like what is real and what is AI. Honestly, most of the AI stuff that I get is very like clearly fake, you know, like meow, the cat owl.
It's not just the content that's fake either. The creator itself could be AI.
Back in the day, a blue check on an account meant that it was verified and you could trust it. Now, I honestly feel like the blue check accounts are the least valid. And those blue check accounts aren't real people. Like you could just tell by the way they type. If you click on the account, they're conversation starters that a real person would not use.
When like a person or a human is just like heavily involved in a post, you definitely gotta check their hands, the way they like smile, check if their anatomy lines up, and if it like, there's like no possible way that's like what a human body should look like that's probably AI.
It's not like a fad, you know, it's like a new technology and it's gonna evolve. I mean, it's not all bad, so maybe like everything's doom and gloom around AIs, but maybe in the future there'll be more positives. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I met with Lynn Walsh, the Assistant Director of Trusting News, an organization that helps newsrooms earn community trust. She talks about how Gen Z can better verify information.
Yeah, so I mean, first thing I always say is trust your gut. If it's saying that a famous politician said something, there's not just going to be that one video that popped up on your Instagram feed or that one video on TikTok. Move out of the space where you found it and go search elsewhere. If you are primarily relying on social media platforms to get information, you are going to be controlled, really, or what you see is controlled by the algorithms.
Lynn emphasizes that our thoughts on AI should be driven by our own research.
We need to decide what we want. And the best way to do that is to understand how it works and then make your voice heard about what you're comfortable with, what you're not. If we all could just pause and resist the temptation to basically feed the machine and then go look and see, is this real? Is it not? We would definitely be making a better contribution, a more positive contribution to the information ecosystem and our communities.
I started my journey feeling unsure about how to find the truth in digital spaces. It felt good knowing that my experience is not unique. Gen Z has the tools to become better, but it's up to us to take that step forward.
I'm on LinkedIn right now because like any college student, I want a job. But let's take a look at how we can use AI to our advantage in the hiring process.
My name is Jose, and I'm a sophomore here at Montclair State University, studying journalism and digital media. And for the past few years, I've been hearing about this AI job takeover, and honestly, I'm starting to get a little concerned. I can't even imagine how the job market will even look like come graduation time. Even my folks behind the camera, we're worried too, right? And I don't think we're the only ones concerned about this, so I'm gonna go outside, talk to some fellow college students, and see how they're feeling about AI and the job market. Let's go.
Do you think people should use AI in job application materials like resumes or cover letters?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
AI, like, proofreading, editing is fine, but don't just say like, ChatGPT, make me a resume.
If you're talking about formatting, sure, absolutely. But if you're talking about how to describe yourself, you should know yourself pretty well.
Everybody should at least try to fill it out themselves, get an understanding of how to properly fill out a resume, and then have AI be like a secondary check.
Seems like students have strong opinions about AI and how to use it. So I want to talk to an expert to get some more information, and I know the right person to talk to.
It would be important for you to get to know and to get more hands-on experience with some of the AI tools that are out there, particularly in order to help you with your job preparation.
I thought there was nobody better than Vicky Nauta, the Director of Career Services, to talk about how to use AI when applying for a job.
It's important that you're asking it to write in your voice. So the more that ChatGPT knows what your voice sounds like, the more helpful it's going to be. So there's certain things that are no-goes. No templates, no 2 columns. Once you're in the interview, that's it. That's on you. There's no chatbot. There is no AI system that can sell you better to an employer and talk about the work that you've done than you yourself. So it's great to use it as a foundation in your job search to get you your foot in the door, but you're the one that's gonna land the job.
Now we know that we can use AI to help with our resume and other application materials on a job search, but we still really can't fully rely on it. So now we're gonna tell AI to help enhance my already made resume. We're gonna tell it not to use a specific template, 2 columns, and to make it in my voice. Let's see what AI could come up with when improving my resume.
So I pulled out my laptop and started typing away. And within a few seconds, ChatGPT made me my new, updated resume. I didn't change a single thing about it. I just printed it out the way the AI made it. And then it was time to see if Vicky Nauta can tell which one was the original and which one was tweaked by the AI.
This is easy. That's the AI one, and that's your regular resume. This is a giveaway for me, right? Anytime I see lines on your resume or words like what I bring, where I've worked, oh, and PS, it's 2 pages, totally an AI resume.
Like if an employer were to look at this, what would they think?
Jose probably didn't feel like putting a lot of time and effort into it and threw it into some type of AI system, and this is what came out.
So there's a way we can use AI for interview preparation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, we use something called Big Interview here, which allows you to record yourself and practice answering questions that are relevant to the position that you're applying to.
So I just used Big Interview for a job here at Montclair State University for the Community Assistant Program. And they ask you very general questions. For example, tell me about yourself, why are you interested in this program, and why do you want to work for us? Very, very simple stuff. After I answered all the questions, AI gave me a full review on how I did. Let's check it out. As you can see, it gave me excellent with a gold star. It says, according to our AI, the user answered this question very well. And then it gave a whole synopsis for the job employer to see on how the interview went with me and if I answered their questions correctly. Looks like I'm ready to head out into the job market and go and start my career. AI is here, and it is onto us to adapt.
I'm here at the School of Nursing because I want to learn about AI in healthcare. And I'm here with my friend Suzana Ulloa, but you're not a nursing student.
No, I am not, but I did meet one who tells me about how AI is affecting her journey in the medical field.
Nurses provide very patient-centered care that's intimate, and I think AI can be very generalized and can't give that type of rapport to a patient the way a nurse can.
Nidhi Thakur, a senior at Montclair, recalls her very ill grandfather. Watching nurses care for him shaped her doubts.
I think the type of comfort and relief that we got was right below God.
Despite her skepticism, she's seen AI implemented in healthcare settings firsthand.
I've been in a room where I see a robotic surgery happening. It looks like he's playing a video game, but they're literally performing surgery on a patient.
At Holy Name Medical Center, CEO and President Michael Marin says AI is shaping future treatments.
We will find cures to a whole host of diseases a lot faster because of AI. right? It's still going to need the guidance of physicians and scientists to steer it in the right way.
Marin also says it's simplifying patients' electronic health records, which saves time.
And I can get to the next patient faster because AI just populated my chart for me. Now I can make that time I have with you feel more personal and more engaged.
Nidhi is on her own AI journey, like using ChatGPT to help her study.
If I put my notes in, they'll make like a bunch of practice questions for me, and I can make them NCLEX style or NGN style. So it's definitely a good studying tool.
And while unsure about AI's role in healthcare, she says the one-on-one human connection is why she became a nurse.
I had a cardiac arrest patient and we brought him back and he lived and he got to see his wife. I just wanted to give that type of comfort and like sense of relief, like, hey, like my loved one is okay, to like other families. And once again, I don't think AI would be able to do that.
For Nidhi, her journey with AI is complicated. She accepts there is a place for it in nursing, but she always goes back to where her nursing journey began. Watching the personal care her grandfather received from his nurses. That type of comfort is what she wants to be able to give to her patients.
Therapy comes in many different ways. I mean, for me, it's just standing outside in front of a nice tree. But others maybe turn into AI. Andrew Cooper has an appointment with a chatbot.
Hi Andrew, my name is Abby. What would you like to talk about?
When you think of therapy, you probably picture a couch, a box of tissues, and an active listener. Today, a generated response could solve your problems. That change isn't science fiction. Therapy is getting a software update.
I think it's very accessible. I think that's number one. It's literally on my phone. We use our phones every day.
Lacadia Montague is a sophomore at Montclair State University. In addition to seeing a therapist, in between sessions, she's been using ChatGPT.
It gives me a space to vent and to see the situation on paper, well, on the phone or whatever, through text, and I'm able to look at it a different way.
In 2024, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration found that about a third of young adults aged 18 to 25 had any mental illness. Help is available, but access isn't always.
AI in mental health is really growing and expanding, kind of like in all other areas of life.
Adam Natoli is a professor of clinical and quantitative psychology at Montclair State University. He believes AI could change the field.
There is a huge market for mental health provisions, right? For mental health services. There's a bigger need than there are providers.
To better understand that gap, I decided to set up a consultation with Abby, an AI chatbot designed specifically to support mental health. How exactly are you able to help people? What kinds of things are you drawing upon, given that you're not a licensed therapist?
I help by providing information, emotional support, practical strategies, and a safe space for conversation. Instead of labeling or diagnosing, I ask questions to help the student reflect. I guide students towards skills that research shows are helpful.
The premise is simple: 24/7 availability to listen, advise, and never judge.
I do use ChatGPT as a sort of a tool alongside my actual human therapist. It gives me all the space to process my emotions.
Some of these tools, when used thoughtfully and intentionally, can supplement, can help the therapy that is already underway.
But that distinction may not be clear for all users.
A teenager's death by suicide encouraged by artificial intelligence. ChatGPT contributed to his death by advising him on methods, offering to write the first draft of his suicide note.
They are agreeing with the individual. That could be very dangerous because that's not what therapists do.
It's only controversial if you use it for the wrong things. For me, using therapy is genuinely bettering myself.
It may sound like therapy on paper, but these chatbots are far from human.
No research is showing that these AI tools can replace therapy.
At the end of the day, it is not human. It does not feel the things I'm feeling. It does not see the things I'm seeing, and it doesn't know what it feels like to be human.
AI may help troubleshoot your problems, but its code is no cure, at least not yet.
We've already talked about some of the things people are most worried about when it comes to AI, but now Joe Mditis, an expert with the Center for Cooperative Media, is going to speedrun some of the top concerns.
I think people say enough about the good stuff. We can dive into the problems. It was initially for researchers to do things like text classification. The difference is now is the accessibility of it. Anybody can do it. There are no guardrails. Legislation cannot and will not keep up, especially under the current administration, which has no interest in regulating it. Any jerk who wants to, generate an image of an ex that he doesn't like, or spew a bunch of false stuff, can just do that. The thought is always, how do we get the most money? Or how do we get the most customers? The thought is never, is this a good idea at all? The energy usage is what requires the water. So the water is used to cool the chips and cool the servers. Otherwise, it fries the chips. And the real water usage is in the training of the models. So that is unaffected by your individual ChatGPT usage. So if you want to take an individual approach to helping the environment, number one, you should go vegetarian or vegan. I don't want to trivialize the water usage thing, but I feel like it's been used as a distraction. The real issues with the water is tied intimately to the location of the data centers. Oftentimes, almost every time, you'll see them put in poor, black, brown, low-income communities that have already suffered a lot of environmental degradation. AI psychosis is defined as someone who has completely engulfed in these AI tools, and they are, it has captured their brain, essentially, especially with models that are pre-trained to agree with you or to incentivize you or to never contradict you. You're absolutely going to have cases where people just aren't able to distinguish reality from generative fiction. Even the studies have shown that cognitive offloading, like offloading your critical thinking, if you don't use these skills, you lose them. If you are a student and you haven't developed the intellectual structures that allow you to understand not only how to do it, but what makes something good or bad or mid, but for things that are actually core to the human experience, telling your story, creating a narrative. If you don't give them enough of a to make it, can you expect anyone else to give enough of a to consume it or to care about it? Art is not just the product, art is the process. I want the robots to do the dishes while I do the art.
We all grew up watching movies idolizing A-list celebrities.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys? But what if those movie stars were generated by AI? Rajesh Deshpande takes us behind the scenes.
Growing up, I watched a lot of Bollywood. As I grew older, my viewing expanded along with my love for movies. Being able to immerse myself in a dramatic, unique story, that sparked something in me to pursue filmmaking. Now, AI is reshaping the film industry.
They pose the single-handed biggest threat to my empire. You are to take them and throw them into the Nile. As you wish, sire.
Moses, Born of Water and Fire, is a modern retelling of a story of Moses. It's also one of the first ever fully AI feature films to have secured a national distribution deal. Seeing this made me concerned about where the industry is heading. But I wanted to learn more, so I sat down with his director David Hoffman, who also teaches acting and AI filmmaking in Florida.
I always thought that I would need millions of dollars to make something like this. I said, Dad, I'm going to make the world's first photorealistic AI feature film. He said, okay. I said, I'm gonna do it in 30 days.
Moses, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
He did it in 2.5 weeks. But how much of this film is really AI?
Every single shot in this film is AI. Every voice in this film is AI.
Ready to lose, little brother?
What are you talking about, Moses?
It is not sorcery. It is the tangible power of God.
I wrote the script, created every shot, and edited the entire thing together. How much do you think that costs to make the entire film? Less than $200.
Hoffman even used AI for marketing, generating behind-the-scenes photos of himself directing. On top of that, he created an interview with his own AI cast and used it for promotion.
What is the world saying about all this?
Major support from people all over the world. It's overwhelming, to be honest.
That is incredible.
The AI actor even answered as to why the director chose to have an all-black cast.
He wants his future sons to one day be able to watch this film and see themselves in the Bible stories, and that God is not biased to one side.
Wow. Most people think I just typed in, make me a Moses movie, go. And things the movie's done. It's completely different, right? Because I've been doing this for 17 years, I know what a a gimbal shot is. I know what an extreme face close-up I want to show people that AI will only replace you if you let it. It's a new notch in the industry. Now you have traditional films, animations, and now you have AI films.
Talking with David Hoffman reassured me that even with AI, the industry still needs people with vision, passion, and technical skills. It made me more sure than ever that this is the path I want to take.
I've loved music ever since I was 3 years old, and I've been playing guitar since high school. I grew up around my dad's feel-good pop songs, which consisted of Michael Jackson and Lady Gaga.
These days, however, AI is being used to create full songs, from beats to lyrics to mixing entire tracks. For example, Celebrate Me by Inga Rose hit #1 on the iTunes charts in the United States. The song was composed using AI. As a music artist, I don't understand why someone would feel the need to replace all of that with artificial intelligence. And I found out that I'm not the only skeptic. I went to the Montclair underground music scene, the Meat Locker, to hear what local bands had to say.
I don't like it. I understand like people use it for certain things, like in the industry, but making music, putting it out there, using AI, I don't know about that. I feel like creativity should come from human beings.
I think the real art in songwriting is when you do something that you didn't mean to do and it sounds good, and you're never gonna get that if the computer's doing it for you.
Word.
And I feel like it takes a lot of credit away from artists who are working now. I don't want to get to a point where there's so much content out there that it's like someone has to prove that they're not using AI and that they're making it all themselves.
No AI fans here, which is my type of crowd, but I decided I want to hear from the other side, so I traveled down to Philly to get in the studio with Navi Beats, a music producer who uses AI.
I think that people could really push the boundaries of their creativity if they accepted it. I don't even like the quality of what you get if you're not chopping it up or using it as something else.
Navi uses Suno Studio, a generative AI audio workstation where he builds off of what the AI creates. For example, here's an original beat he made with added AI vocals. Now here's what Suno generated when he asked for strings. Then, he tuned it to his liking. He's also able to create sounds that don't exist, which would typically take hours to create or find. For example, he was messing around with 2 simple words.
Crash out, crash out, crash out. Finally, I got this fire, like 90s sound.
The sample was used in a Litz Friday and Meek Mill song, Crash Out, but nobody knows it was made by AI. But why?
The stigma of AI, the stigma of I cheated. What did I cheat? I would never find a sample that says crash out.
Now, how does Navi find the balance between using AI and creating original beats?
At the point where you kind of use it to get ideas out faster, or you use it to create things that you might not be able to create, you might not have the resources to create, I think at that point, I think it's valid. My moral compass could only use it as a tool.
Personally, I still am not a fan of AI, but I understand it a lot better now. Creativity is still coming from within, and AI is simply giving access to things that a lot of people can't do.
When I cross, I give the courtesy.
I love watching stand-up comedians. And after doing this whole show on AI, it made me wonder, what role can it play in comedy? So let's answer the question, can AI be funnier than a human? Let's find out. First, I met up with Professor Guy Nicolucci, who wrote jokes for The Daily Show, Conan O'Brien, and the Comedy Central roasts. I needed his help to write a stand-up routine, which I would then perform in front of a live crowd. Hopefully he can make me funny. Do you think that's possible? No. He was still willing to help me though, and we were coming up with some good material.
So what do you recommend for like delivery? What do you think I should, how do you think I should be doing?
Conversational, so it doesn't sound like da-da-da-da-da-da.
I wanted to apply what he was teaching me with the practice run. Thank you very much. But once I actually started performing, he didn't seem too impressed. Now that Professor Nicolucci helped me write the human-made routine, it was time for one to be made by AI. And it only took ChatGPT 10 seconds to generate the jokes. All that I needed to do was take notes and practice. But practice wasn't going very well. I persisted, and I even asked the AI for some feedback on my delivery. but it was a similar story. I was losing all hope in myself, and I was regretting pitching this idea to the producers of this show. But time waits for no man, and before I knew it, it was showtime.
All right, so yeah, I've never done stand-up ever. Even though I've never done stand-up before, I am a film student, so that means I think that I'm better than you, all of you. I think an experience that every film student has is that there's always that one person that makes like the experimental, like super somber film, and it's like a 2-minute shot of like their roommate staring into like a broken mirror. And then the film professor has to like pretend like it's good, like he has to find something that's good about it. Like, yeah, the cinematography was really intentional. I can see that. Like I saw the boom mic come into frame like 8 times. Like what was intentional about that? How many film students do we have in here actually? Oh, we have a lot. Okay, so I'm offending all of you. Hopefully you guys aren't the ones making the experimental film.
Now it was time for Routine B.
That was the worst part about DC. Overall, DC was great. My favorite part of it was when we went to go to do karaoke. And I'm gonna single someone out, my friend Rozin, who's here tonight. I want you guys to imagine the most quiet person in your friend group, the shyest person, the person that when they speak, it's like a celebration. And I want you to imagine them at karaoke, like this, with veins popping out of their head, screaming, singing a song, and then they jump up and they start performing. I think it was, honestly, I've been to 40 concerts. It's probably the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life. It was the best thing I ever watched. Rozin, I love you, man. That was awesome. You made my night.
Now that I had performed both routines, it was time to ask the crowd which one they preferred, Routine A or Routine B.
What was that? Cheer Bills A. And now cheer Bills B. I think B wins.
And Routine B was written by me, which meant I had defeated AI.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, it seems like the crowd preferred my jokes, and at least in this case, comedy is the one thing AI is yet to take over. But let's not forget, we shouldn't be afraid of AI. The journey doesn't end here. We all have our own path to take. I'm Miky Arias, and this has been Focus, our AI journeys.
So how did you feel about AI before you started your story?
So before I started doing my story, I was actually incredibly against AI.
I was not too scared of the technology. Times are always changing and technology is always evolving.
I was very skeptical about AI, especially on social media.
I didn't really understand how to appropriately and responsibly use it.
Honestly, I kind of saw AI as more of a negative thing.
I was pretty unsure how to feel about AI because I didn't really understand it, and I didn't really trust it because it would constantly get answers wrong.
I thought that AI would kind of be a fad, not something to really be too concerned about, that people were just overhyping it, maybe fear-mongering it.
After my story and after I talked to someone who used AI, I looked at AI in a completely different light. He really showed me that he could still use his creativity and still use his personality into all the art that he makes. It was honestly amazing to watch.
I just am more reassured that I know what's coming and what are its possibilities.
I realized that the only way to really combat AI on social media is to research, understand, and really stop and think about the content you're seeing online.
Now I feel way more comfortable using AI and discerning what is potentially true and not true.
I knew that AI could do a lot, but really seeing it perform in all of these pieces was really magical to me.
I see more of the use cases for it, and I'm definitely less skeptical and more willing to actually give it a shot in my own life.
I see that AI is here to stay, and if anything, it's here to enhance our opportunities if we use it wisely. Not something to rely on, but something we need to adapt to be using.